Excitement in the air as Nigerians await the opening of the second Niger Bridge. Nigerian digital technology startups place the country on the technology world map as the just concluded Gulf Information Technology exhibition in Dubai. Plus, rising cases of mental illness in Edo State, a great concern for health practitioners. Many thanks for joining us on this week's edition of The Correspondents. We have stories that will educate, inform and excite you as usual. I am Tessie Omiri. You're welcome. We begin the program on a cheery note. For commuters plying the Niger Bridge, hope is rising that very soon the challenge of traffic gridlock on the bridge will become history. This is because another project is standing tall above the River Niger, and that is the second Niger Bridge, expected to bridge traffic gaps between Anambra, the light of the nation, and Big Heart, Delta State. Correspondent Onenge Fineface examines the prospects of succor from the new bridge for the entire southeast and beyond.
It could be a nightmare traveling on the first Niger Bridge. People say they spend hours, sometimes days, on the road at the peak of traveling season. This explains the excitement and great expectations they have about the second Niger Bridge.
No, they go slow. This bridge, motor too much for this bridge. It affect the bridge. And now the cost goes slow here. May them help us. May they help us do that the other bridge. You know, they've finished that bridge now. This place go there free.
We will not be saying we don't like that. We like second Niger Bridge. But you don't delay too much. But I believe that because of this water, because the gate road where they say they won't put for that side. But now water don't cover that side. Maybe after that water then they put that road.
From our side, Ondo State now, reach here now. It's almost 4 hours. 4 hours. Okay, at the end of the way, I just reach from Abraka, what do they call it? Abraka to here, to Tipa Junction. I spent more than 5 hours this morning. So if they help us to finish that area, it's very, very okay. We like it.
Sitting beside the famous Niger Bridge, linking Asaba and Onitsha, is the second Niger Bridge, said to be a legacy project designed to ease the motoring public of years of difficulties commuting between Delta and Anambra states. Measuring a total of 11.9 kilometers, the second Niger Bridge project comprises a main bridge that is 1.6 kilometers long and 30.1 meters wide. The project has 3 secondary bridges, 2 in Anambra and 1 in Delta State. A 3.3 kilometers approach road adjoins the bridge in Delta, and another approach of 7 kilometers runs into Anambra State.
The stanchions are already in place. The cross beams are in place. Very soon, the roofing material will be brought to site and installed. You can see the pavement is in place. You see, we have street lights on top. Underneath the bridge, we are going to have lighting as well to illuminate the navigation channels.
It is fitted with street lights, 3 navigational channels measuring 150 meters wide and 15.8 meters in height at high tide.
Unlike when they use bridges hold up, people no longer move. So goods and services are somehow short in demand. So when there is second Niger Bridge, there will be free movement, and when there's free movement, there's everything, everybody's happy.
This one now, we have movement. Because people that are going to Bosi, going to Port Harcourt, don't have any business with the first bridge. Everybody enter this one. And even this second Niger Bridge is going to bring development to these close communities.
The tolling point, a significant feature of the project, is topic for discussion among motorists.
They are put on. It's okay now, but make road day all right. How much for toll gate? You don't know how many hours we will spend here. If they do toll gate, it's very nice now, no problem. I think toll gate day before.
The part when I want me because as I know like that toll gate, somebody like me, I know like that toll gate. Not be toll gate, but I know like people they stay there, say that they collect money, but then go still cost code up there.
The toll gate is okay, very, very okay. When they just finish the second road now, hold up, no go dey.
Work is in progress. The contractor certain of timely completion, and Nigerians await eagerly with great expectation the opening of the new Niger Bridge to derive the promise of succor it holds in stock.
It is indeed a promise of succor. I can imagine how commuters will feel when the bridge becomes functional. A sigh of relief, you may say. Thank you very much, Honenge. And now to digital technologies. 33 Nigerian digital technology startups made stellar appearances at the just concluded Gulf Information Technology Exhibition in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. They locked horns with other innovators from more than 120 countries, emerging global best and second global best. Correspondent Chimdima Ndubisi, who covered the event, gives us an overview.
It was a convergence of innovative digital technologies, enterprises and markets at the 42nd edition of the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GITEX Global 2022 in Dubai, a platform for innovators to showcase digital solutions to everyday human needs. More than 5,000 organizations and 120 countries participated. An aspect of this gathering is the widely contested North Star Supernova Challenge pitch competition, where upcoming innovators vying for prizes build solutions using metaverse, sustainability, quantum and cloud computing, fifth-generation network, blockchain, artificial intelligence,
it is nice to meet you, Adam,
and future mobility technologies. Nigeria's startup squad was at the global stage with mind-blowing solutions on energy, waste management, entertainment, logistics, and more, showing the world that Africa, Nigeria in particular, is a force to reckon with in the global startup ecosystem. 30-year-old Khalil is one of them. Within 4 months, he developed an online delivery mobile application different from traditional delivery system. It comes handy for urban dwellers who have limited time to shop and small and medium enterprises seeking to improve sales. SharpSharp is an online mobile application that collects delivery orders across multiple online order platforms and allocates drivers to promptly make deliveries such as food, groceries, medicines, and many more. It was this innovation that fetched Nigeria the first position on the mobile and smart cities category. It beat Datums of India to bag the $8,000 cash prize.
The fact that we have a good understanding of the African market and we're building tailored solutions, that serves, the African needs. And also we're empowering other SMEs. It's not just about us, it's about the economy as a whole.
Live Big application built by 24-year-old Shadrach using blockchain technology is one of the 9 startups that got to semi-finals. Contents of upcoming artists and producers are uploaded on the app and monetized by converting such to tokens that can be digitally purchased.
NFTs, non-fungible tokens, by converting your content into tokens, you can actually sell those contents to anybody globally that is using our cryptocurrency. Nigerian government, CBN just launched the eNaira. With eNaira, you can get to actually buy your favorite music and enjoy it.
The competition had 13 categories. There is an interesting aspect here. No one is a loser. Startups that didn't make it to the victory list still end up clinching partnership deals or outright buyout, as is the case with First Founders startup that sealed a $10 million partnership deal. The application provides both skills and funding support to early-stage and underrepresented innovators.
Resources and capital that they need to be able to build their ideas into minimum viable product, so that they will be attractive to investors to invest in.
I'm highly impressed. Our economy in Nigeria is a private sector economy, not public sector economy. If you look at it, in 2022, the entire national aggregate is not more than 7%. 93% of our economy being controlled by the private sector. So it is because of this, the only way to go is to support our young companies to grow.
The popular opinion is that this edition of GITEX Global is the nation's best outing. The country's potential of becoming a global ICT powerhouse in no distant time and status as best startups investment destination in Africa, unarguable.
To talk more on the event is NTA's ICT correspondent, Chimdima Ndubisi. Hello, you're welcome to the correspondence.
Thank you very much.
And glad to have you back from Dubai. So now, Nigeria's profile is rising high in terms of technological advancement, especially in the international community. Can you share with us your experience?
Gulf Information Technology Exhibition Global 2022. It was an exciting one.
Okay.
About 120 countries participated, and then over 5,000 companies came to that exhibition.
120 countries.
Yes.
Okay. And I heard you talking about Nigeria as global best, something like that.
Yes. Wow. Actually, GITEX is I call it a marketplace where innovations and investors meet. Yeah. There you will see the latest technological trends, the latest inventions in all areas. This year's GITEX focused on metaverse, artificial intelligence and robotics, and so many other things. At this exhibition, there's what is called a North Star Supernova pitch competition. That's where innovations, startups, new inventions are exhibited. And then countries take this seriously. At that competition, out of 800 entries, Nigerian startups made it to semi-finals. Nigeria came with 33 startups. So Nigerian startups made it to semi-finals. 9 startups made it to semi-finals. Then 2 advanced to finals. Wow. And at the final stage, 1 emerged the global best in the area of mobility and smart cities.
Okay.
And that startup is Sharp and won $8,000.
Tell us briefly about the Sharp.
The Sharp technology logistics, if you could call it that. It's all about, it's a mobile application that, aggregates online orders.
Okay.
Something that is different from this invention is that it's a gathering of SMEs and then drivers that would deliver promptly, sharply. That's why it's Sharp. It delivers, once you place an order, a driver can be picked from any platform, anywhere.
Okay.
It goes across all online platforms.
Okay.
So to deliver that to you, any available driver that is there will just immediately address you.
From what you are saying, this feat has really improved the image of the country in the global sense. So
yes. Another startup that made it to the finals, Flowies. So it was competing with another company, another creation, but at the end of the day, it came second best.
That's so good. That's
so
really good.
It's good. It was a good outing for Nigeria. Nigeria's technologies, digital technologies, were recognized as not only upcoming, that it has what it takes.
Yes, this is really, really heartwarming. You can see I'm just full of smiles listening to you with all these breakthroughs. Really heartwarming. So now, from a reporter's point of view, can you share with us what's your take home from that GITEX?
My take home from this exhibition is that the future is here, and that future is digital inventions, digital technologies, digital entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much, Chimdima, for coming on the program, and thank you for sharing that wonderful experience with us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Is mental illness a spiritual problem or a medical condition? You'll get to hear from health practitioners after the break. Don't go away.
Pleased that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress,
like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion.
Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment
with the cooperation of all. sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondence, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Welcome back to The Correspondence. There is an upsurge in the number of Nigerians battling mental health challenges of various degrees of severity in Benin City. It is also having its toll on major mental health facility. The Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Uselu, Benin City, where the numbers needing medical attention have increased greatly. Chief Medical Director of the facility says, coupled with brain drain challenge, the hospital is being overstretched. Correspondent Agatha Egwariojo tells us more.
It is now a common sight to find mentally challenged persons roaming the streets of Benin with no one to cater for their needs. This is just a fraction compared to the numbers that are attended to at the popular psychiatric hospital in Uselu daily. Since COVID lockdown, the number has continued to increase steadily. Experts conclude that economic pressure, post-traumatic stress disorder arising from unpleasant situations, especially insecurity, and substance use and abuse are fueling the increased mental challenges.
We are having a very high rate of inpatient admissions, all right? Ordinarily, we've been having higher bed occupancy. Now we are having sometimes 100% bed occupancy. We are looking for beds. We had to expand our bed capacity recently. And I can tell you as we speak, those beds are taken. This is different from the outpatient attendance, which is also spiraling. Every day we see a minimum of 100, between 125 to 150 patients on outpatient basis. We are seeing every clinic day a large number of people coming for the first time.
Add these cases to the many unreported who seek help in religious or traditional homes. The true picture is better imagined. Late presentation owing to myths and beliefs that mental cases are spiritual is aggravating the problem.
God has smoked. It's not misbehaving. Even if you could say this is the cause, let's take him for treatment, say no, my enemies have come again. Or a student get up from the exam hall after reading several days without sleeping or eating, and then during the exam hall start shouting, lecturer, I'm going to deal with you. The lecturer look at him, something is wrong, and say, let's take him home. He gets home, the first thing they do is to take him to one religious home. From there, they take him to one village. From there, they want to take him to one town, the other. He misses the exam totally. Finally comes back after a year, half done. The funny thing is that we now have a lot of problems. If at that time in the exam hall, they take him to the University Health Center, from there they refer him to the psychiatrist to review. I can assure you, he may miss one or two papers. He will be able to stabilize himself within the few times. Continue that exam, and there will be nothing lost.
Rising cost of energy, food, and other daily consumables are challenges the institution is finding ways to grapple with, even as it is raising alarm over exodus of its workforce.
Literally on this table, almost on daily basis now, I have to sign acceptance of someone's resignation, voluntary retirement, especially the doctors, the nurses. Those ones are leaving in droves. To get a psychiatrist is difficult, very difficult. So most times we have to train them. Now, both the trainees and the trainers are leaving. The last 1 to 2 years, I've lost quite a number of my consultants. I came on board, I retreated like 2 or 3 times because when I came on board, we were so short. We had just 2 residents. It was incredible. We, the consultants, had to do everything. In fact, even now, as a medical director, I run my clinic every Friday. Of the clinical people we took last year, over half are gone already. It's now like a conveyor belt. You train, they go, they train, they go. And it's a shame because we are training these people with funding from government. It's no longer just the clinical staff. I noticed now all other category of staff, they are leaving.
Some of the patients in the facility have been abandoned for as long as 20 years, leaving the hospital to cater for them through goodwill of some Nigerians.
Experts say mental health illness is like any other health challenge that can be cured or managed. Experts say mental health illness is like any other health challenge that can be cured or managed. And anyone can come down with the illness depending on the circumstances. They're advocating support from family and institutions to help make life easy for them and encourage those who need help to come out fast.
I quite agree with you, Agatha. Those who need help should stop living in self-denial and seek medical cure for as early as possible. That is the way to go. Many thanks. And that concludes the correspondent this week. We thank you for watching. We'll meet again next week on another edition. A reminder that the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Take action and be a star with the NTA. Bye for now.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
The act of making something more beautiful by adding ornaments to it is also known as decoration. Today, so many men and women hardly do without decorating their events. They choose the colors and the quality of materials befitting such an event. Invited guests and groups that grace the occasion normally come in their numbers with different attires conforming to the recommended colors. This practice is an indicator of cooperation and solidarity during ceremonies and festive periods. The purpose of wearing the dress can be to serve as self-identification with age mates, relations or friends during social occasions such as weddings, funerals or parties. The word Asho in Yoruba means cloth and Ebi denotes family. So, Ashobi can be described as a family cloth usually worn during parties or family ceremonies or occasions. However, others call it anko, and many adopt the white man model, which is uniform.
When it first started, it was just the headgear. All the members wearing the same color. Gradually, today, they have moved down even to the dress and the handbag. Handbag to match and even shoes.
The question then is, how do we practice in our own locality in Benue State?
Because of our association with the outside world. Our people are bringing it and introducing it now in Benue State.
They use it in order to make their events colorful. Almost all the tea traditional marriages, you see them making black and white as a group. So for the Igbo mass, it's red and black. Then the Igede is blue and black on the traditional marriages, and even on the white weddings, they use black and white.
How do you feel when your event is accentuated with different colorful attires?
So much excited because I will know that at least I have a group, as in people that have identified with me on my day.
I will be so excited, so joyous inside me. I will know that yes, so people, everybody will know that yes, these are so people, he belongs to them, so it makes you happy.
What happens if the guests come with attires whose colors do not correspond with those recommended?
It is not as if it is a must that you must wear Ashobi. It's not for everybody. So if the chief celebrant sees somebody who is not into that attire, why will he or she not welcome the person?
There are factors that could make people disappoint in that way. Some, it could be that they don't have the money to afford the material, TV. Some, it could be that they don't like wearing same clothes with so many people.
In as much as decoration is aesthetic to an event, people whose attires do not conform with the color of the day should be free to partake in the merrymaking or identify with others wearing the same uniform. After all, the essence of attending any party is just to celebrate with others and have a nice time. So, next time you're going out for that occasion, the choice is yours. Stay with the crowd or have your own unique identity.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International. Your window to the world.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic.
Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. Here are top stories on the hour. My name is Justin Bemunyi. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Seoul, the Republic of South Korea, ahead of the first World Bio Summit. President Buhari, alongside 4 other African leaders, will join chief executive officers of global vaccine companies to share and shape ideas on health security, especially the future of vaccines and biohealth. It is part of efforts to build the needed technology to contain any future global pandemic, learning from the COVID-19 experience. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the Chinese leader, President Xi Jinping, on his historic election to a third term as the leader of the Communist Party of China. In a statement signed by Senior Special Assistant to the President, Media and Publicity, President Buhari says he hopes that the re-election would pave the way for deeper and enduring partnership and strategic cooperation that will be mutually beneficial to the two countries. Nigeria's special agro-industrial processing zones is set to take off, with both government and partners committing $538.5 million for the program. Major financiers of the program are IFDB, IFAD, Islamic Development Bank, Federal Government of Nigeria, and participating states. The program is designed to mobilize private sector investment to develop value chains for selected strategic crops and livestock in the 7 participating states. The International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, has announced a $5 million grant for Nigeria. The grant is to enable Nigeria scale up food production to cushion the effect of flood and climate change. The fund will be released through the IFAD Value Chain Development Program. A strategic action plan to address the challenges in the Lake Chad Basin is currently undergoing final validation in Abuja. Representatives of member countries of the basin are in Nigeria's capital for a 3-day workshop to review and approve the 15-year action plan. The plan will emplace a sustainable solution to the environmental, security, poverty, and other socio-economic challenges in the region. And these are some of the stories trending on the hour. I thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Bemu.
Food is one of the commodities that keeps one alive and provides economic benefits to farmers and nations. Since the start of the Russian-Ukraine war, food insecurity has been alarming, especially in Africa. And the crop in focus is food. My name is Nigel Michael, and you're welcome to What Matters. Wheat is the front burner of food insecurity in Africa. Our first feature reveals the opinions of Nigerians on wheat products and suggestions on how to overcome these challenges.
32% of Africa's wheat imports comes from Russia and 12% from Ukraine. Angola, Burundi, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, and Tanzania lead in the trade. Russian wheat to some of these countries totals 259,590 tons, but a sizable number of African countries have shifted to Argentina for wheat imports since the commencement of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, with Nigeria importing 53,500 tons, and South Africa 20,000 tons. These scenarios emphasize the importance of wheat in the economy of nations, and that wheat products are consumed by Nigerians regularly is not to be doubted.
I consume it, but sometimes I do. It's very important to. I consume flour products most times, and you can get flour from our bread, daily consumption. So
it's practically impossible to go a day or two without consuming wheat, so I can't put a figure to it or to the quantity that I consume.
Wheat products are no longer affordable in the market, which many attributed to the war and other sundry issues.
affordable. Me and you know that they are expensive now, but we kind of limit what we take due to the high price of it and all.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of factors contributing to that. One, the insecurity in the nations that make people are not farming any longer, so that's escalated the price. Secondly, the closure of borders has made a lot of things has escalated up.
Generally, there's inflation in the country, and the war going on in Russia that we import all those products from.
Even though we are a consumer of wheat products in high volume, we are a net importer of wheat. So, and if you understand the global dynamics, because even the inflation we are talking about is not relative to Nigeria. It's a global thing. So wherever we import it from, the price differential, you understand, would have to tell on the market price that we have here. Secondly, we import it largely from the Ukraine. And you know that there is war over there in Ukraine, and for some time now, the ports have been closed. The imports have not practically stopped.
Africa tops among continents with a large population of youth, most of them without jobs, meaning that they can be engaged to cultivate wheat as an occupation than importing it. In the light of this situation, Nigerians opined that the country should look inward to sustain itself.
I advise us that we should look inward. Look inward, what can we produce? We have cassava and other products that if we can put our heads together, just like what happened in Singapore and some of these countries that looked inward and knew what to do.
At our own time, when I was growing up in the village, there was something like bread or snack. Let us go back to our own African food. Go to here, go and eat yam, go and look for options. Or alternatively, go and produce the wheat locally, instead of depending on other people to making their own economy to be buoyant. And we are suffering in this country.
There is never a time that wheat has become a challenge to Africa, where its population groans under the scarcity of the commodity. Hopefully, the present situation will motivate nations in the continent to produce wheat for consumption and to earn foreign exchange.
Given the high demand and consumption of wheat products in Africa, the African Development Bank President, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, made a case for food production in Africa at the 2022 G7 Ministerial Conference in Germany.
Wheat is said to be one of the foremost food crops produced in ancient times. The food crop was a staple food for the Egyptians who produced and baked bread in ovens over 5,000 years ago. And surprisingly, the Egyptians have maintained one of the leads in the consumption of wheat in the world. Wheat has remained vital as the second most consumed grain after rice, and that tells how important the crop is to nations, especially the developed ones. China produces 126 million tons of wheat annually. India, 95 million tons. Russia, 60 million tons. The USA, 55 million tons. France, Canada, and Germany, 39 million, 29 million, and 28 million tons respectively. Despite the commitment of the developed countries to the production of wheat, The product is at the center stage of the Russian-Ukraine war and has equally affected food security in Africa, where wheat is consumed. Fortunately, the circumstances have once again brought to the fore the opportunity for Africa to occupy the center stage in agricultural development. The African Development Bank President, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, leads amongst those calling investors to Africa because of its huge potential, such as its market and resources. Adesina's efforts resonate louder than previous pleas by African leaders to Russia for the release of grain to the continent. The ADB president has rolled out a $1.5 billion African emergency food production facility to ease the impact of the current global food crisis caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While speaking at the 2022 G7 countries meeting, Adesina appeals for investment in food production in Africa as against food importation.
We should hear from those countries most affected by the Russian war in Ukraine. I raise my voice on behalf of the 1.3 billion people affected in Africa by a looming food crisis arising from this war. For Africa, we must, however, move beyond emergency food aid. We must prioritize food production. We have the technologies to feed Africa. Africa does not need bowls in hand to beg for food. Africa needs seeds in the ground to produce food for itself. When farmers are provided with the right technologies, they can feed their countries. Our flagship program, called the Technologies for African Agriculture, in just 2 years. In Ethiopia, TAT-supported heat-tolerant varieties have allowed it to cultivate 675,000 hectares. It's reduced in wheat imports by 80% in 2 years. There will be booty. That's what we should be doing. The board of our bank approved on May 20, 2022, a $1.5 billion African emergency food production facility to support emergency food production, developed jointly with the African Union. The facility will support. This will consist of 11 million metric tons of wheat, 18 million metric tons of maize, 6 million metric tons of rice, and 2.5 million metric tons of soybeans.
The financial package will assist countries to purchase agricultural inputs, provide extension services, and increase food production in the continent. It will also create jobs for the youth and increase Africa's gross domestic production.
Better way of conversing for investment in Africa than food production. And we hope it will come soon. We'll take a break. What matters continue in a moment.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. You can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome back. Nigeria is among the countries experiencing food insecurity due to the Russian-Ukraine war. What are the stakeholders doing to increase wheat production?
Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa, with an arable land area of 34 million hectares for agriculture, also boasting of favorable climatic conditions for any crop. While wheat consumption is high in the country, there is a significant increase in wheat production in the country to meet domestic demand.
Everybody knows, and some people do not even know that they are consuming wheat because wheat is being processed before consumption. That is why they thought even rice is even more consumed in Nigeria. But however, let me stress to the point that wheat is more consumed because almost 60% of our food are being processed with wheat. Say, for instance, like the flour, the bread, Indomie, your noodles that you are baking, meat pie, cakes, and what have you. Everything, almost everything you see a bit of wheat inside. Even people now, if they are making a crunch chicken, you understand, they make it with flour and so on. Everything is wheat there.
Although wheat cannot be produced in every climate, but Nigeria seems to have the potential to turn the tide for good.
As you all know, that it's not everywhere that wheat can be produced because it's a temperate crop. It can only be produced where the temperature is very low. That is about 10 or 12 states in Nigeria where there is very good harmattan and a very lengthy harmattan period. Wheat can be produced Yobe, Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, Bauchi, Gombe, Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, producing in
Nigeria is not keeping its arms folded on the increase in prices of wheat products. The farmers are said to be cashing on the scarcity for good.
Yes, you know, naturally, if the prices of commodity or anything rises, people tend to go back to that particular thing to take advantage. So when the wheat production, when the wheat supply is being cut from Russia and so on, and then the demand is high, and now, and so definitely the prices of the wheat has gone very, very high. I can give you an example. And definitely, so people, our farmers, went back to wheat production seriously, and that makes our farmers to go back to wheat production because they make money out of it. Because of the money that farmers made and the increase of the prices. I give you an example that last year during the harvest, wheat was sold at 18 to 20,000 naira during the harvest per 100 kg. But this year, as a farm gate during the harvest was 36 to 38,000 naira, up to 40,000 naira per the same 100 kg. That makes people to go back, our farmers to go back into wheat production, and we are getting ready for more production of wheat. And look at it, I told you, formerly our production was from 2% of our consumption. Local consumption, our production was 2% of our local consumption, but now we are reaching up to 12%. So there is high increase, and I believe that this year the wheat production is going to be very, very high. It's going to multiply seriously.
In addition, support is given to the farmers to meet up domestic demand for wheat.
Okay, number one, you have to know that among all crops that we are producing, wheat is very sensitive to mechanization, because if you are using mechanization, the loss of harvest, the post-harvest loss is very high. It used to be for the farmers, like harvesters and tractors and so on. And you can see that AFAN has engaged in companies that in mechanization, like tractors companies like Jundi and so on. So they are provided, and we are providing to the services to the farmers, Sonelika and so on. So that's number one. And then number two, we are engaging again some companies like PCX company that we have signed MOU with to bring input, so that we give input to the farmers during the production, so that we assist them with some chemicals before even government intervention and so on, because our own is in our hand, that farmers can get it as early as possible.
We hope more will be done to increase wheat production in Nigeria. Now, not much is known about the wheat production and the reason why Africa cannot meet up with its domestic demand. We will get to know more about this in our interview with Dr. Emeka.
You can make it elementary by just asking, how much are you buying bread now? That's the impact. How much are you buying cereals now? That's the impact. How much are you buying Indomie now? That's the impact. How much are you buying spaghettis? Okay, that's the impact. Because wheat is that back end, inputs that is converted into all these products and more. And even now, your swallows, if you may, okay, your wheat breads and your wheat meals and your oat meals and all that. So it has a very strong impact. Today, bread has risen from 200 naira and is hitting 800, 1,000 in some instances. I understand even the noodles, the Indomies, have also tripled or quadrupled in price. It is because, the major inputs is wheat. It shouldn't be, considering even that the country that we're waiting or we're expecting or looking forward, to give us this wheat. The size of Ukraine probably will fit into one of the states of Nigeria. Okay, Ukraine will fit perfectly, maybe into Niger State twice. All right, so it doesn't sit well. All right, but it's not sitting well because we've not been able to understand that we need a lot of volumes. This is us. We have strategic reserves all over the place. We have that intention to be able to make certain that we have enough, to be able to feed our people. But all of them, all those silos are empty. Innovation, development planning, purpose, demand, result-oriented programming. That's why. Not thinking out of a box. Okay, and being fixated on the old ways. And what are these old ways? Everything that has to do with agriculture must come through the Ministry of Agriculture. Whereas there's a new line of thinking that agriculture, food production is not necessarily now seen as an agriculture, focus. Okay, they're beginning to introduce technology. And if you're introducing technology into food production, then but land might not now be your primary focus. All right, technology will be. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you see, as your population grows, and we've not been able to also match our population, growth with our nutrition demands. We must have minimums. We must have minimums. Okay, and we must be able to, place these farmers against these minimums and then give them the support against the minimums. And what do I mean? If we're going to be doing rain-fed, then you must have a minimum land mass that qualifies you to be part of the national wheat production scheme. Okay, and this will now, be discounted against the volume that you're expecting that can be able to now put down or crash down. Okay, for instance, how many bags of flour do we consume daily in Nigeria? How many loaves of bread, or how many tons of bread rather, okay, or bread products we produce on a daily basis? That would be the beginning question, won't it? Okay, because if you're 200 million and bread is staple, okay, what it simply means is that at least 80% of families in Nigeria eat bread on a daily basis. That's why it's staple, right? So now that will also suggest that you'll be needing thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of flour to be able to bake this bread on a daily basis or bi-daily basis. So the beginning point will be to first and foremost mathematically align, okay, that back end of your wheat demand that takes it to flour, that now takes it to your bakeries. Now this is what they call informed planning. True, it is now result oriented. But if you just say, oh, some farmers are producing, and then the press is announcing, oh, Nigerian farmers are beginning to produce wheat. And then by the time you go there, you have the total, volume under maybe 100 hectares of land. Are you really producing? Okay, it becomes some kind of bliss. So you must be able to say, for we to announce ourselves as a wheat production or wheat producing country, we must first and foremost have what you call your minimum. And that minimum must be driven by the output needed by your value end.
A good time with you here on this program. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome to the Slant today, where we say it as it is and we get to enjoy ourselves talking about various things that are happening in our society.
Beyond 6 packs. Because your job still remains as the man. Protect the woman, to project the woman. You need to do that again.
This is the network service of the NTA.
If you have never had the opportunity of being deaf for a second, you will never appreciate hearing. And if you've never had an opportunity of being blind for just 2 seconds, you will really not appreciate vision. And then coming to think of the fact of you having a twin disability, like a dual disability, not hearing and not seeing, but against all odds, you strive to be the best at every given opportunity. Then let me tell you something. You become top in class, topping all the persons who do not have a disability. That is the story of Solomon today on Against All Odds. We will be back very shortly. Don't go away. The program is Against All Odds, and my name is Dushima Pius Ikiravi.
This is Against All Odds.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. And I am here today with Solomon, a deaf blind, someone who against all the odds against him, refused to be conquered by his condition. He forged ahead to become who he wants to become. Today, Solomon is someone to reckon with, and he's here with us on Against All Odds. Grab your drink and your bowl of popcorn and let's pop this together. It's Against All Odds. Solomon Okelola has a master's degree in special education and rehabilitation science from the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. He grew up with both vision and hearing impairment. Solomon could not see to a large extent with his left eye until he finally lost his residual vision 13 years ago. He is presently blind and hard of hearing. To bridge the communication gap, Solomon learned several methods of communicating, using the voice note on his phone and earpods, and use of a special interpreter, and also the use of a hearing aids.
This is Against All Odds.
Tell us, how has life been? You know, just a bit of everything from the beginning, how you were able to cope from the points that you lost your sight and then you had problems with your hearing, because you're visually impaired and you're also hard on hearing. How has it been for you coping with twin disability?
Thank you so much for the question. Actually, as everybody can imagine, life without sight or hearing can be very difficult, especially considering the fact that those are the two primary organs of the body. I've always been low vision and hard of hearing as far back as I can remember, right from my nursery and primary school days. Of course, it wasn't easy, and especially in a regular school, no special teachers. Back then, we didn't even know anything about special education, and from an early age, I realized one thing, that I had a choice. It was either I let my situation determine what I do, or I try to master my situation. Because growing up, I loved to read. And I came to realize that I was facing severe difficulties in school because of the fact I couldn't hear my teachers, I couldn't see what they were writing on the board and all that. Back then, during the time I was low vision, I had to, if I want to write my notes in class, I had to get up from my desk, walk forward to the chalkboard, begin from the first line, I read, I go back to my deck, write what I've read, go back to the chalkboard again, continue from the second line over and over again. Number one, that was kind of slow. And secondly, I usually obscure my maid view of the board, and it was inconvenient for them. So I decided I had to find another way. Whenever we were having a particular class, I can go to the library to read, or I'll just sit in the class with them, not hearing the teacher, not seeing what was on the board. When they finish the first class, I'll collect the notes from one of my mates to write my own note while they go on with the second class. That was easier for everybody, although it left me a class, kind of a class behind others. So that was how I started writing my note and copied with my love for reading and all that. In short, I read my way through everything in the library during the time I left my class, my mates in the class. And from there, I started I started kind of discovering my writing skill, and it also helped me whenever it came to answering, writing my tests, my exams, and all that. Gradually, I started gaining weight. I started gaining my weight ahead of my classmates. People around me thought I had nothing to offer the society because of my combination of vision and hearing loss. But the more I saw people around me saw me as nothing, the more I became determined to show them that I have something.
A gradual loss of two vital parts of the body, hearing and sight, was not a pill Solomon's mom swallowed with ease. Discovering daily that her son was going deaf and blind was a bad dream she needed to wake up from. Solomon, who was devastated and suicidal, had to advise himself that he will never be another failure whose story will be printed on the pages of magazines. And so he decided to change the narrative. He took the bulls by the horn and faced his fears.
And I'm grateful for the support I got from my late mother and especially my siblings also. They really believed in me. And with that belief they had in me, plus the confidence I had in myself, and from the way I came to know and I came to exercise faith in God right from an early age, I decided no matter what might be, whatever life might be my way, I was going to show that I could really be the best no matter what. So with that decision, going through school, I maintained my position as one of the best in class until I gained admission in the University of Ibadan to study special education. Along the way, when I was at my 300 level, I started experiencing trouble in my sight again. I started running around, trying to see what could be done. I was told I need 2.5 million naira for a surgery. I couldn't get the surgery. I couldn't get the money on time. And so that was how I lost my sight. Actually, the association, what do they call them? Academic Staff Union of Universities were on strike at that period between June to November 2009. And so when I realized there was nothing I could do about my sight, I had to try to pull myself together. It was a really trying period. All of a sudden, the world went black. I really wondered if I could be able to continue. I really wondered if I could be able to maintain my position as the best in class, because for my 200 level, I was leading my mates also at the best in the class. And a question came into my mind. If I should drop at this time, there was one thing people would think, that with a disability, someone's ability to excel is always affected. I did not want to pass across that idea. And so I had to struggle everything to gather myself back together again. It was far from easy, but I'm grateful to God. I was still able to maintain my position at the best in class until I graduated from my fourth degree in the year 2010, the best graduating student of the department.
Great people are born and not made. Some were born with silver spoon, while some had to work twice as hard, unlike their peers, to seek a decent living. As anyone can well imagine, growing up with both vision and hearing impairment was far from easy, especially as the vision was more or less half-eyed. Solomon had cataracts in both eyes, and it was so severe that he couldn't see anything with it. A person who is deaf-blind has a unique experience of the world.
Someone is wondering, how can somebody, one person be deaf and one person be blind? Maybe you should also try to throw more light on this deaf blindness. What is it? The possible causes? Are there preventions? What can be done to avoid this,
That blindness implies a combination of vision and hearing loss together. Now, the combination of four major categories. We have those who are totally blind and hard of hearing, like myself. We have those who are totally deaf but with low vision. We have those who are they have both low vision and they are hard of hearing. That means they still have some residual sight and hearing. And we have those who are totally blind and totally deaf. Now, if you want to talk of the causes of deaf blindness, the major cause of deaf blindness worldwide is what we call Usher syndrome. That's a USHER, Usher syndrome. Usher syndrome is actually a genetic disorder which occurs as a result of a gene mutation. And for an individual to inherit Usher syndrome, the individual must inherit the 40 gene from both parents. If the individual inherits a 40 gene from one parent and a normal gene from the other parent, he or she becomes a carrier. And carrier do not show any sign of vision or hearing loss.